The arrival. The Zarkonian fleet emerged from hyperspace, their sleek, obsidian ships casting long shadows across the face of the moon. Admiral Excelfor stood on the bridge of the flagship, his four eyes narrowing as he gazed upon the blue planet before him. Earth, as the natives called it, was but another conquest in the long history of Zarkonian expansion. Status report, Excelfor demanded, his voice a low rumble that reverberated through the command deck. All systems nominal, Admiral, replied his second-in-command, Velnar. Our scans indicate primitive defenses and rudimentary space capabilities. The humans appear to be unaware of our presence. Zelthor's mouth curved into what passed for a smile among his species. Excellent. Prepare the standard ultimatum. These humans will learn their place in the galaxy soon enough. As the Zarkonian fleet positioned itself in high orbit, the first signs of alarm began to spread across Earth. Amateur astronomers were the first to spot the alien armada, their excited chatter quickly giving way to fear as the implications became clear. Within hours, governments worldwide were scrambling to respond to the unprecedented situation. In Washington, D.C., President Elena Martinez stood in the Situation Room, surrounded by her top military advisors and scientists. The atmosphere was tense, filled with a mixture of fear and determination. "What are our options?" Martinez asked, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. General Michael Chen, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, cleared his throat. "Madam President, our conventional forces are no match for their technology. We're looking at an adversary capable of interstellar travel. Our best bet might be to open a dialogue, buy some time while we figure out a plan." Dr. Amelia Wong, the nation's foremost xenobiologist, interjected. "We need to be cautious. We have no idea what their intentions are or how they perceive us. For all we know, they might not even recognize us as sentient beings." As if on cue, screens around the room flickered to life, displaying an alien visage that was both fascinating and terrifying. Admiral Excelthor's face filled the displays, his four eyes blinking in an unsettling rhythm. "People of Earth," the alien's voice boomed, somehow translated into perfect English. "I am Admiral Excelfor of the Zarkonian Empire. Your planet now falls under our dominion. Surrender immediately and submit to our rule, or face annihilation. You have one Earth rotation to comply." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the room in stunned silence. President Martinez was the first to speak, her voice filled with quiet resolve. "Well, I think that answers the question of their intentions. General Chen, I want every available asset ready to defend our planet. Dr. Wong, gather your team and start analyzing everything we can about these aliens. We need advantages, and we need them fast." As the room burst into activity, Martinez turned to her chief of staff. "Get me a secure line to every world leader. It's time humanity stood united." Across the globe, similar scenes played out in capitals and military installations. The initial shock of first contact quickly gave way to a grim determination. Humanity had faced existential threats before, from world wars to climate disasters, and had always found a way to persevere. This would be no different. In Moscow, President Alexei Volkov convened an emergency meeting of his top generals. "We will not bow to these aliens," he declared, pounding his fist on the table. "Russia has never surrendered to invaders, and we will not start now." In Beijing, Chairman Lai Wei addressed his nation, his words carefully chosen to inspire courage. "The people of China have a history spanning thousands of years. We have faced many challenges and emerged stronger. This is but another test of our resilience." As the deadline approached, the Zarkonians watched with growing confusion. They had expected immediate capitulation, perhaps with some token resistance. Instead, they observed a planet mobilizing for war. Military installations around the world buzzed with activity. Civilian populations were being evacuated from major cities, and there was no sign of the white flags they had anticipated. Admiral Excelfor paced the bridge of his flagship, his agitation evident in the twitching of his secondary appendages. "This is unprecedented," he muttered to Velinar. "By now, they should be begging for mercy." Velinar studied the tactical displays, her brow furrowed. "Perhaps they do not understand the gravity of their situation, Admiral. A demonstration of our power might be in order." Zelthor considered this for a moment before nodding. "Agreed. Target their largest military installation. We'll show them the futility of resistance." As the Zarkonian weapon systems powered up, targeting a base in the American desert, alarms blared in underground bunkers across Earth. President Martinez and her team watched in horror as energy readings spiked off the charts. "Brace for impact," General Chen warned, his face grim. The Zarkonian beam lanced down from orbit, its brilliance momentarily turning night into day. When the light faded, a massive crater stood where the military base had been. The surrounding desert turned to glass. In the stunned silence that followed, Zelthor's face appeared on screens worldwide once more. "This is but a fraction of our power," he declared. "Surrender now, or your entire civilization will be reduced to ashes." As the transmission ended, President Martinez stood, her eyes blazing with defiance. "Get me a channel to respond," she ordered. "It's time to show these aliens what humanity is made of." Moments later, Martinez addressed not just her nation, but the entire world. "People of Earth, we face a threat unlike any in our history, but we will not cower. We will not surrender. Throughout our existence, humanity has faced countless challenges, and we have always emerged stronger. Today, we stand united against this alien menace. They may have advanced technology, but we have something they clearly lack: an indomitable spirit. We will fight, we will resist, and we will prevail. For our freedom, for our future, for Earth." As Martinez's words echoed across the planet, a roar of defiance rose from every corner of the globe. In the face of annihilation, humanity had made its choice. They would not bow. They would not surrender. The battle for Earth was about to begin. First contact. The Zarkonian command center buzzed with activity as reports flooded in from around the planet. Admiral Xelthor stood at the center, his four eyes darting between holographic displays, each showing a different facet of Earth's defiance. "This is unexpected," Velinar said, her voice tinged with confusion. "No species has ever rejected our ultimatum so uniformly." Zelthor's upper appendages twitched in irritation. "It appears these humans are more troublesome than anticipated. Prepare for a full-scale invasion. We'll crush their spirit with overwhelming force." As the Zarkonian fleet prepared its assault, Earth's defenders scrambled to ready their defenses. In laboratories and military bases around the world, scientists and soldiers worked feverishly to find any advantage against the technologically superior invaders. Dr. Amelia Wong hunched over a microscope in her lab beneath the Pentagon, studying a sample retrieved from the glass desert where the alien weapon had struck. Her team had been working nonstop, analyzing every scrap of data they could gather about the Zarkonians. "Dr. Wong," one of her assistants called out, excitement in his voice, "I think we've found something." Wong rushed over, her eyes widening as she saw the results on the screen. "This is incredible. The alien energy weapons leave a unique radiation signature. If we can detect it, we could track their ships, maybe even predict their attacks," the assistant finished. Wong grabbed her tablet, fingers flying across the screen. "I'm sending this to General Chen now. This could be the break we need." Across the world, similar breakthroughs were happening. In a secret facility in Siberia, Russian scientists had reverse-engineered fragments of a downed Zarkonian scout ship, unlocking secrets of their propulsion system. In Bangalore, a team of Indian computer experts had cracked the alien communication protocols, allowing Earth's forces to eavesdrop on enemy transmissions. As dawn broke over North America, the Zarkonian invasion began in earnest. Dropships descended from the sky, their hulls gleaming in the early morning light. But instead of the easy victory they expected, the aliens found themselves facing a prepared and determined enemy. In New York City, the first wave of Zarkonian troops landed in Central Park, expecting to find a panicked populace. Instead, they were met with a hail of gunfire from entrenched physicians. Civilians, trained in hasty defense courses, fought alongside professional soldiers, using the urban terrain to their advantage. Sergeant Sarah Cooper crouched behind an overturned bus, her squad arrayed around her. The distinctive whine of Zarkonian energy weapons filled the air, interspersed with the staccato of human firearms. "Remember your training," Cooper shouted over the din. "Aim for the joints in their armor. Work in pairs. We are not going down without a fight." As the battle raged, the aliens found themselves bogged down in street-to-street fighting. Their superior technology was offset by the humans' knowledge of the terrain and their fierce determination. For every block the Zarkonians took, they paid a heavy price in blood and equipment. Similar scenes played out across the globe. In the megacities of China, in the savannas of Africa, in the mountains of South America, humanity pressed its newfound advantage. The Zarkonians, accustomed to relying on their superior defenses, found themselves outmaneuvered and overwhelmed. But the true game-changer came from an unexpected quarter. Dr. Amelia Wong, working with a team of international hackers, had made a breakthrough in understanding the Zarkonian computer systems. "It's not just a matter of cracking their code," she explained to President Martinez and the War Council. "Their entire system is based on a different logic, a different way of processing information. But we've found a way in." Martinez leaned forward, her eyes intense. "What exactly are you proposing, Doctor?" Wong's eyes gleamed with excitement. "A virus, Madam President. But not like anything we've ever created before. This will rewrite their systems from the inside out. We can turn their own ships, their own weapons, against them." The plan was audacious, bordering on insane. It would require getting the virus directly into the Zarkonian flagship systems. But if it worked, it could end the war in one stroke. "How do we deliver it?" General Chen asked, his voice skeptical but intrigued. "That's where our lunar friends come in," Wong replied with a smile. In the secret bases beneath the lunar surface, a daring plan was set in motion. Colonel Jenna Harper, commander of the Lunar Defense Force, briefed her team on what could be the most important mission in human history. "Listen up, people," she said, her voice echoing in the underground chamber. "We've got one shot at this. Our job is to create a big enough distraction to allow our infiltration team to board the alien flagship and deliver the virus." The plan called for a massive coordinated attack from Earth and the Moon, using every weapon and tactic humanity had developed over the course of the war. It would be the largest military operation in human history, with the fate of the planet hanging in the balance. As the appointed hour approached, tension mounted on both sides. The Zarkonians, battered but still powerful, prepared to face what they assumed would be humanity's final desperate assault. They had no idea of the true nature of the threat they faced. The attack began with a barrage from the lunar mass drivers, enormous electromagnetic cannons that hurled projectiles at a significant fraction of the speed of light. The Zarkonian fleet, caught off guard by the ferocity of the assault from what they had considered a minor outpost, scrambled to respond. As the space around Earth erupted into chaos, the real operation began. A small, stealthy craft, piloted by an elite team of hackers and special forces, slipped away from the lunar surface. Using the debris field and the confusion of battle as cover, they approached the Zarkonian flagship. On board, Tech Sergeant Zhou Chen, Dr. Wong's protege, clutched the device containing the virus. "Remember," she said to her team, "we only need a few seconds of access to their main systems. After that, the virus does the work for us." The boarding was a blur of violence and precision. Using Aegis breaker technology, the team cut through the flagship's defenses, fighting their way to the central computer core. Zhou, her hand steady despite the chaos around her, connected the device and initiated the upload. For a moment, Nothing seemed to happen. Then, alarms began to blare throughout the ship. Lights flickered, and the constant hum of the engines faltered. On the bridge, Admiral Excelfor watched in horror as his command screens went dark. "What's happening?" he demanded, but his officers had no answers. Across the Zarkonian fleet, ships began to lose power. Weapon systems turned on their own vessels. Communication channels filled with static. The mighty armada that had terrorized Earth for weeks was suddenly reduced to a collection of drifting, powerless hulks. As the Zarkonian threat crumbled, humanity pressed its advantage. Earth-based forces, coordinated with lunar attackers, began a systematic takedown of the remaining alien strongholds. The invaders, cut off from orbital support, and with their technology failing, found themselves outmatched by the very primitives they had once dismissed. In the White House Situation Room, President Martinez watched the reports flood in with a mixture of disbelief and elation. "My God," she whispered, "we did it. We actually did it." The battle was not yet over. Pockets of Zarkonian resistance remained, and the task of securing their advanced technology would take months. But as news of the victory spread across the globe, a wave of jubilation swept through humanity. Against all odds, facing an enemy with vastly superior technology, they had prevailed. In a hidden bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, an international team of scientists and engineers labored over an ambitious project. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a brilliant Japanese physicist, explained their work to a group of military observers. "We've analyzed the Zarkonian shield technology," she said, gesturing to a holographic display. "It's incredibly advanced, but not impenetrable. We believe we can create a resonance cascade that will disrupt their shields, even if only for a few seconds." General Chen, representing the global military coalition, leaned forward. "And how long until this is ready for deployment?" Dr. Tanaka's face was grim. "Days, if we're lucky. But every hour we buy could mean the difference between victory and defeat." As the scientists raced against time, the battle for Earth intensified. The Zarkonians, learning from their initial setbacks, began to employ more subtle tactics. Instead of brute force assaults on major cities, they now targeted infrastructure and communication networks, seeking to isolate and divide humanity's forces. In the skies over Europe, Squadron Leader HFY led a flight of next-generation fighters, their frames incorporating salvaged Zarkonian technology. Her voice crackled over the radio as she engaged an alien strike force, attempting to take out a critical power station. "Falcon Squadron, form up on me," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos around her. "Remember, their ships are faster, but we're more maneuverable. Use that to your advantage." The dogfight that ensued was like nothing in the history of aerial combat. Human and alien craft danced a deadly ballet among the clouds, energy weapons and missiles crisscrossing the sky. Carey's squadron, though outnumbered, used their knowledge of Earth's atmosphere and their smaller size to devastating effect. By the time the skirmish ended, the Zarkonian strike force had been decimated, with Carey's squadron suffering only minor losses. "Command, this is Falcon Leader," Carey reported, her voice tight with controlled excitement. "Threat neutralized. The power station is safe." Similar scenes played out across the globe as humanity's forces, despite being technologically outmatched, continually found ways to thwart the alien advance. In the dense jungles of the Amazon, indigenous tribes guided special forces units, using their intimate knowledge of the terrain to ambush Zarkonian patrols. In the vast steppes of Mongolia, nomadic horsemen worked in tandem with modern cavalry units, harassing alien supply lines and disappearing into the landscape. Underground, the battle took on a different character. Dr. Wang's team had made another breakthrough, developing a method to detect the unique magnetic signature of Zarkonian power armor. This led to a series of daring raids on alien forward bases, with human strike teams using this knowledge to target key personnel. In one such operation, a joint task force of U.S. Navy SEALs and Russian Spetsnaz infiltrated a Zarkonian command post near the ruins of Berlin. Captain Viktor Volkov, the mission leader, signaled his team as they approached the alien structure. "Remember," he whispered, "we're not here for a firefight. Get in, plant the virus, get out. Let their own systems do the work for us." The team moved with silent efficiency, using their new detection equipment to avoid patrols. When they reached the central computer core, tech specialist Lisa Chen got to work, her fingers flying over her custom interface. "Uploading the virus now," she murmured. "This should scramble their targeting systems across half of Europe." As they extracted, alarms began to blare. The team fought their way out, Zarkonian energy bolts sizzling past them as they ran. Despite a few close calls, they made it to their extraction point, the mission a success. Back in orbit, Admiral Xelthor received the reports of the raid with growing anger. "How?" he demanded. "How are they continually one step ahead of us?" Velnar, ever the voice of reason, offered a perspective that Xelthor was reluctant to accept. "Admiral, I believe we need to reassess our understanding of these humans, their adaptability and ingenuity. It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Xelthor's secondary appendages twitched in agitation. "Are you suggesting that these primitives might be our equals?" "Not our equals, Admiral," Velnar clarified, "but perhaps more worthy adversaries than we initially believed." As the battle raged on, humanity's scientific community continued to work tirelessly. In laboratories around the world, researchers pored over every scrap of alien technology they could salvage, reverse engineering what they could and developing countermeasures for what they couldn't. Dr. Tanaka's team in the Alps made a significant breakthrough, successfully testing their shield disruption technology on a captured Zarkonian drone. The results were broadcast to military commands worldwide, injecting a fresh surge of hope into the resistance. President Martinez, watching the test footage in the White House Situation Room, allowed herself a small smile. "This is it," she said to her advisors. "This is how we turn the tide. General Chen, I want this tech deployed to every theater as soon as it's ready." But even as humanity celebrated this victory, the Zarkonians were adapting as well. Learning from their defeats, they began to employ more sophisticated tactics, using their superior numbers to launch coordinated attacks across multiple fronts. In a bold move, they targeted Earth's space infrastructure, destroying satellites and space stations to disrupt global communications. The loss of the International Space Station, a symbol of human achievement and cooperation, was a particularly heavy blow to morale. Yet even in the face of these setbacks, humanity's spirit remained unbroken. Amateur radio operators around the world formed a makeshift communication network, keeping information flowing even as official channels went dark. In orbit, the crews of civilian space stations and lunar outposts, cut off from Earth, began their own guerrilla campaign against the alien fleet. As the third day of the invasion dawned, both sides had learned harsh lessons. The Zarkonians had been forced to acknowledge that conquering Earth would not be the simple task they had envisioned. Humanity, for its part, had seen the devastating power of their enemy firsthand. But with each passing hour, the balance shifted. Human ingenuity and adaptability began to level the playing field. The Zarkonians found themselves facing an enemy that refused to break, that met each setback with renewed determination and creative solutions. In the smoldering ruins of Sydney, Australian soldiers fought alongside Maori warriors, using a combination of modern firearms and traditional weapons to deadly effect against the alien invaders. In the cold waters of the North Atlantic, submarines played a deadly game of cat and mouse with Zarkonian vessels, using the ocean depths to their advantage. As the battle for Earth entered its critical phase, the outcome remained uncertain. But one thing had become clear to both sides. This would be a fight unlike any other in the history of the galaxy. The Zarkonians had come expecting an easy conquest, but they had found instead a species that refused to bow, that fought with a ferocity and creativity that defied all expectations. The war for Earth had truly begun, and its outcome would reshape the future of both humanity and the Zarkonian Empire. Turning the tide. As the conflict entered its second week, the true nature of the war became apparent to both sides. This was not a simple invasion to be won or lost in a matter of days. It had evolved into a grueling battle of attrition, with both humans and Zarkonians paying a heavy price for every gain. On the Zarkonian flagship, Admiral Xelthor faced a crisis. The invasion, once seen as a routine expansion of the Empire, had become a costly quagmire. Resources were stretched thin, and reinforcements were still days away. Admiral Velna reported, her tone grave, "Our ground forces are reporting significant losses. The humans' guerrilla tactics are proving extremely effective." Xelthor's upper appendages twitched in agitation. "And our orbital supremacy. Surely we still hold the advantage there." Velnar hesitated before responding. "We maintain control of near-Earth orbit, but..." "Admiral, we're detecting increased activity from the lunar colonies. It seems the humans are using their moon as a staging area for counterattacks." The revelation sent shockwaves through the Zarkonian High Command. They had dismissed the primitive lunar outposts as inconsequential, but now they realized their mistake. The moon, overlooked in the initial invasion plans, had become a thorn in their side. On Earth, the momentum was shifting. Dr. Tanaka's shield disruption technology, now codenamed Aegis Breaker, had been successfully deployed to major combat zones. Its effects were immediately apparent. In the ruins of Moscow, Major Dmitry Volkov led a counterattack against a Zarkonian stronghold. As his forces approached, they activated the Aegis Breaker devices. The alien shields flickered and failed, leaving them vulnerable to the combined firepower of tanks, infantry, and air support. "For Russia, for Earth," Volkov shouted as he led the charge. The battle was fierce, but for the first time, the aliens found themselves on the defensive, their technological advantage neutralized. Similar scenes played out in cities across the globe. In Moscow, Russian tanks engaged alien walkers in Red Square, the historic buildings bearing witness to a battle unlike any in Earth's history. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazilian special forces used the favelas to stage lightning-fast guerrilla attacks, striking the invaders and melting away before they could respond. Admiral Xelthor watched the battle reports with growing frustration. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They're savages with primitive weapons. They should be cowering in fear." Velnar studied the tactical displays, her expression grave. "It appears we underestimated them, Admiral. The humans are using their inferior numbers and technology in innovative ways." As if to punctuate her point, alarms blared across the Zarkonian fleet. Earth's combined naval forces had launched a massive salvo of missiles, not at the alien ships, but at the debris field their arrival had created in orbit. The explosions shattered the debris into countless pieces, creating a cloud of shrapnel that threatened the Zarkonian vessels. "Evasive maneuvers," Xelthor bellowed, gripping his command chair as the flagship shuddered under impacts from the debris cloud. On Earth, President Martinez received the news of the orbital gambit with grim satisfaction. "Well done, Admiral Zhao," she said to the Chinese naval commander who had proposed the unorthodox tactic. "Let's see how they like fighting in our territory." As the space around Earth became a dangerous obstacle course for the invaders, the ground war continued to rage. In London, the British Army had lured a Zarkonian battalion into the underground, turning the vast network of tunnels into a deadly maze. In Delhi, Indian hackers had reprogrammed civilian drones en masse, using them to swarm and distract alien air support. Dr. Wang's discovery about the alien energy weapons was already paying dividends. Early warning systems, hastily recalibrated, now gave defenders precious seconds of warning before Zarkonian strikes. In some cases, this was enough to evacuate areas, or even shoot down incoming projectiles. As the first day of the invasion wore on, it became clear that the easy victory the Zarkonians had anticipated was not going to materialize. Humanity, far from surrendering, was fighting with a ferocity and creativity that the aliens had never encountered before. In his command center, Selthor faced a decision. The invasion was not proceeding as planned, and the longer it dragged on, the more his forces were exposed to the humans' unconventional tactics. "Velnar," he said, his voice low, "prepare a status report for High Command. We may need reinforcements." The admission clearly pained him, but the reality of the situation was undeniable. The humans, those primitive beings they had so casually dismissed, were proving to be the most formidable opponents the Zarkonian Empire had ever faced. As night fell over the battlefields of Earth, neither side could claim victory. The Zarkonians held footholds in major cities, but their losses had been staggering. Humanity had bloodied the nose of the invaders, but the fight was far from over. In the White House Situation Room, President Martinez addressed her war cabinet. "We've survived the first day," she said, her voice tired but resolute. "But this is just the beginning. We need to press our advantages, keep them off balance. Humanity has shown its strength today, but the real test is yet to come." Around the world, as the fires of battle smoldered and the wounded were tended to, a new sense of purpose emerged. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and had not been found wanting. They had stood against the cosmic invaders and held their ground. The war for Earth was far from over, but for the first time, there was hope. Hope born from the indomitable human spirit that refused to bow, even in the face of annihilation. The battle begins. As the sun rose on the second day of the invasion, both sides regrouped and reassessed their strategies. The Zarkonians, shaken by the unexpected resistance, began to adapt their tactics. No longer did they view the conquest of Earth as a simple operation. Now it was a full-scale war against a determined and resourceful enemy. Admiral Excelfor paced the bridge of his flagship, his 4 eyes narrowed in concentration. "We underestimated these humans," he admitted to Velinar. "But we will not make that mistake again. Prepare for a sustained campaign. We'll grind them down with our superior numbers and technology." On Earth, military leaders and scientists worked around the clock to exploit every advantage they could find. The breakthroughs of the first day, the detection of Zarkonian energy signatures, the cracked communication protocols, the innovative use of orbital debris, were just the beginning. As the dust settled on the greatest conflict in Earth's history, humanity found itself changed. They had faced extinction and emerged victorious, not through overwhelming force, but through ingenuity, adaptability, and an indomitable spirit. The message to the galaxy was clear. Humanity would not bow. They would not surrender. And any force that threatened their world would face a united species that had proven itself capable of overcoming any obstacle. The war was over. The future, bright with possibility and fraught with new challenges, beckoned. Victory and aftermath. In the months following the defeat of the Zarkonian invasion force, Earth began the long process of recovery and adaptation. The war had left deep scars on the planet's surface and in the hearts of its people, but it had also ushered in a new era of unity and technological advancement. The capture of the Zarkonian flagship, with its vast databanks intact, proved to be a turning point in human history. Scientists and engineers from around the world worked tirelessly to understand and adapt the alien technology, making breakthroughs that would have taken centuries to achieve otherwise. Dr. Amelia Wong, now hailed as one of the heroes of the war, led the international team tasked with deciphering the Zarkonian archives. In a press conference broadcast globally, she shared some of their findings. "What we've discovered is astounding," she said, her eyes bright with excitement. The Zarkonians were not just an invasion force. They were scouts for a much larger empire. And Earth, by defeating them, has announced its presence on the galactic stage in a way that cannot be ignored. The implications of this revelation were staggering. Humanity was not alone in the universe, and now other alien civilizations knew of their existence and their capability. The question on everyone's mind was, what comes next? President Martinez, addressing the United Nations General Assembly, outlined humanity's path forward. "We stand at a crossroads," she declared, her voice firm and resolute. "We have proven our strength, our resilience, and our ingenuity. But now we must prove our wisdom. We must use the knowledge and technology we've gained not just to defend our world, but to propel humanity to new heights." The speech was met with thunderous applause, a far cry from the fractious political landscape of the pre-invasion world. The war had fostered a sense of global unity that persisted even as the immediate threat receded. This new spirit of cooperation bore fruit in ambitious projects that would have been unthinkable just a year earlier. The lunar base, once a small research outpost, was expanded into a thriving colony and shipyard. Mars, long the dream of explorers, sought its first permanent human settlement established in record time, using adapted Zirconian terraforming technology. But it wasn't just in space that humanity made great strides. The advancements in energy production, material science, and computing derived from alien technology led to a new golden age on Earth. Clean, abundant energy revolutionized industries and economies. Medical breakthroughs extended human lifespans and cured diseases once thought incurable. Yet, even as humanity celebrated its achievements, there were those who urged caution. Admiral Chen, now head of Earth's newly formed Space Defense Force, was one such voice. "We must remember," he warned in a speech to military academy graduates, "that our victory, while decisive, revealed our existence to a wider galactic community. We must be prepared for the possibility that the Zirconians were just the beginning." His words proved prophetic. 3 years after the defeat of the Zirconian invasion force, long-range sensors detected a new fleet approaching the solar system. But this time, Earth was ready. A defensive grid of satellites and space stations stood watch over the planet. A fleet of ships, reverse-engineered from Zirconian designs, but distinctly human in their innovation, moved to intercept the newcomers. And on the surface, a united humanity waited, ready to face whatever came next. As the alien fleet approached, they sent a transmission. To everyone's surprise, it was not a demand for surrender or a declaration of war. Instead, it was a request for parley. The message, translated by the advanced AI systems developed from Zirconian tech, was clear. To the defenders of Earth, "We come seeking dialogue, not conquest. Your defeat of the Zirconian Empire has shaken the foundations of galactic politics. We wish to understand and to learn." In the UN Security Council chamber, now expanded to include representatives from the lunar and Martian colonies, leaders debated how to respond. Some urged caution, warning of potential deception. Others saw an opportunity for peaceful first contact, a chance to establish Earth as a diplomatic player on the galactic stage. In the end, it was Dr. Wong who provided the perspective that swayed the council. "We've proven we can fight," she said. "Now let's prove." "We've proven we can fight," she said. "Now let's prove we can lead." Our strength isn't just in our ability to resist. It's in our capacity for innovation, adaptation, and cooperation. Let's show the galaxy what humanity truly stands for. Her words resonated with the council, and a decision was made. Earth would meet with the alien delegation, but on human terms. The location chosen for this historic encounter was fitting. The expanded International Space Station, now a sprawling complex that served as humanity's first true foothold in space. As the alien ship docked with the station, tension filled the air. The human delegation, led by President Martinez, and including key figures like Dr. Wong and Admiral Chen, waited in the conference room. When the doors finally opened, revealing the alien representatives, a collective gasp echoed through the chamber. The aliens were nothing like the Zirconians, where the invaders had been insectoid and aggressive in appearance. These beings were almost ethereal, tall, slender figures with iridescent skin and large, expressive eyes that seemed to hold the depth of the cosmos within them. "Greetings, people of Earth," the lead alien spoke, its voice a melodious tone that seemed to bypass ears and resonate directly in the mind. "We are the Etheri, and we come in peace." What followed was a dialogue that would change the course of human history. The Etheri, it turned out, were part of a galactic coalition of species, a coalition that the Zarkonians had long sought to conquer and subjugate. Earth's victory had not only defended humanity, but had also dealt a crippling blow to the Zarkonian Empire's expansion plans. "Your species has accomplished in weeks what our coalition has struggled with for centuries," the Etheri ambassador explained. "You've shown a level of adaptability and ingenuity that is unprecedented in our experience." As the talks progressed, it became clear that this was more than just a diplomatic meeting. It was an invitation. The Galactic Coalition was offering humanity a chance to join their ranks, not as subordinates, but as equals. The offer was tempting, but it also presented new challenges. Joining the coalition would grant humanity access to knowledge and technology beyond their wildest dreams, but it would also involve them in conflicts and politics on a galactic scale. President Martinez, ever the diplomat, saw both the opportunity and the risk. "We are honored by your offer," she said to the Etheri delegation, "but we have only just begun to understand our place in the universe. We would need time to consider such a monumental decision." The Etheri seemed pleased by this response. "Wisdom," the ambassador noted, "another trait that sets your species apart. Take the time you need. We are patient." As news of the meeting spread across Earth, reactions were mixed. Some embraced the idea of joining the galactic community with open arms. Others were more cautious, warning against trading one potential threat for another. The debate raged in town halls, on social media, and in the halls of government. In the midst of this global discussion, humanity continued to push forward. The reverse-engineered Zarkonian technology, combined with human innovation, led to breakthroughs in faster-than-light travel. Within a year of the Etheri visit, the first human-built starship, the HSS Unity, was ready for its maiden voyage. The launch of the Unity was a global event. As the sleek vessel rose from its lunar drydock, cheers erupted from every corner of the Earth. Humanity had taken its first true step into the cosmic ocean. Captain Zhou Chen, the same tech sergeant who had played a crucial role in defeating the Zarkonians, stood on the bridge of the Unity, her heart racing with excitement. "Helm," she ordered, her voice steady despite the momentous occasion. "Take us out." As the Unity disappeared into the depths of space, humanity stood at the threshold of a new era. They had faced extinction and emerged stronger. They had taken the best of what they had learned from the Zarkonians and the Etheri, and combined it with their own irrepressible spirit of exploration and innovation. The message to the galaxy was clear. Humanity was here to stay. They would not bow to threats, nor would they shy away from challenges. Instead, they would face the unknown with courage, curiosity, and an unwavering belief in their potential. As Earth continued to debate its role in the galactic community, ships like the Unity ventured further into space, carrying with them the best of what humanity had to offer. They went not as conquerors or subjects, but as explorers and peacekeepers, ready to forge their own path among the stars. The war with the Zarkonians had been won, but humanity's greatest adventures were just beginning. The galaxy watched, wondering what this young, resilient species would do next, and humanity, true to form, was eager to show them the end, or perhaps just the beginning.